In 1992, my husband and I were driving along Astana Highway when a car hit us. They took me to a rural hospital.
A surgeon with a low qualification decided to cut my leg off.
Then I was brought to Almaty. There was a long resuscitation period. I spent 1 year in a hospital.
I still cannot forgive my ex-husband, who had not taken care of his car's maintenance.
Also, it's very unpleasant for me to realize that the person who hit us had a reckless disregard towards the fact that he was driving a highly hazardous source. When the driver stopped to have a rest, he decided to smoke some marijuana. He then lost control and hit our car. In this accident, I have lost all of my previous life. Moreover, I lost 2 of my children and was left alone with my mother in a one-bedroom apartment.
I lost my children, and I was not able to have children anymore.
My mother had taken everything to a hospital. She had sold expensive clothes, jewelry, and some furniture. When I came home from the hospital, there literally was a chaos. There were moments when we didn't have any money to buy food. I had to use an artificial limb and sell something since nobody hired me to work in such condition. At the moment when the car accident happened, we were establishing our own firm. But my business partner abandoned me. So we were left bankrupt with a big loan. We had to survive, and I survived. When first being discharged from the hospital, I had psychological complexes, trying to dress so that no one would notice anything. I was shy to go to the swimming pool, but it lasted a very short time. Then I realized that all problems and barriers were in my head. People who helped me to recover were first and foremost my mother, emergency physician and anesthesiologist, Kats Yakov Natanovich, an acting vice president of prosthesis factory and at that time artificial limb expert Andrei Dmitryevich Kozhikov, Dr. Evgenia Pavlovna Popkova, prosthesist at our artificial limb factory and one of my close friends. When I come across the amputees, everything goes down to the daily routine. Impossible to leave the house from a so-called accessible environment. Hard to pick suitable clothes. Big problem with shoes. To stand on the artificial limb is quite difficult because the skin on the heel and the skin under the knee isn't the same. It means that the skin on the amputated limb is different, and when you stand on prosthesis for the first time, it is always painful. Many get irritated, many start dropping everything, saying, I don't want to do it. I would rather use a crutch, a wheelchair, or something else. All you need is to hang in there. I had 2 friends, strong men, who would put me between each other at a distance and made me walk. The important thing after amputation, when the stitch has been healed, is to prepare skin cover so that it becomes roughened, reducing further traumatization. Once sitting in the kitchen near the window in autumn, I realized that every falling leaf is every hour of the day, every minute of my life. This life is just passing me by.
I started to go out, communicate with people. I met so many great people who achieved something in life.
One of the brightest meetings I've had was with Talgat Amalgandiyevich Musabayev, Kazakhstan astronaut. Looking at his example, I understood that if it's possible for him to fly into space with the help of people, why am I complaining? Look at me, I'm better than the floor, right? It is more joyful to look at you. What's the problem then? Gentlemen, please look at me. Don't look down. Good job. Make smaller steps. Try to step from heel to toe. Great. Here you go. This way, rest on the leg. Now I will introduce you to one amazing person, an owner and just a stunning man as the president of our prosthesis factory, Petrov Nikolai Nikolaevich, a man who is always here to help. Besides the fact that Kira is our regular client, she's our good friend, because she does a great amount of work with the population of Almaty as well as in Astana. As I know, people from all over Kazakhstan seek Kira's advice, but sometimes it is a bit too overwhelming for us. Nevertheless, we are more than happy to help Kira and our people. That's why we are grateful that she's not indifferent. Perhaps we all need to be like her, a very active person with a life stance. We love and respect her. She's our insider. Thanks for the trust. Thank you. We don't have a clear coordination between surgeons who amputate and the artificial limb factory. As from my experience with girls under supervision, we had lost legs this year and last. I see a lot of medical mistakes that were made initially at the moment of amputation. The stitch has recovered, but the tissue on the deeper level hasn't, and it's still raw. So, how can a person walk on this? No way, he cannot. Regarding this case, I've been suggesting the doctors to come to the prosthesis factory and talk to the specialists. Once, having seen me in the hospital, a girl with cancer whose leg was cut off said, "Finally, there is someone who will understand me." Since then, the girl believed in herself, so her and I started to walk using an artificial limb. Looking at my example, she stood up and has been walking ever since. Last year, the same thing happened with Katya Porofyeva. From our first encounter, we have established a warm contact. Kira said, "Katya, it's gonna be hard." And I understood that it was actually going to be hard. I knew it would be difficult to stand up. Kira told me that despite all of this, we will stand up, we will accomplish everything. She didn't say anything in particular, but gave me a lot of hope by saying there will be something, and I said okay. Facing a problem, you never know a perfect solution for it. How do I do this? How do I do that? How am I supposed to live and walk? After a car accident, I was thinking, how will I behave at home? It all starts with daily routine issues. How will I go out? If you had told me I was going by taxi alone at that time, I would have said, "What are you talking about? I'm not ready." Certainly, such people as Kira play a big role. I just looked at her. Honestly, it was enough for me to see how she walks. Surely, I understood that in my case, it would be harder, because 2 of my legs were cut off. It is important for the person not to be left alone. It is crucial to have someone who would say, "Stop it, let's go." If Kira gives advice, she does it right, and I've heard it. She would bring cancer patients here, and we would go to clinics number 12 and 4 together, where I heard how she was consulting clients. She gives qualified advice. The moment when you had an amputation isn't as scary as the pain after an operation. Consequently, as time goes by, you start experiencing enormous pain. It's called phantom limb pains, when something that doesn't exist hurts. This can be impossible to tolerate. Unfortunately, I experience this frequently. The longer the memory of the accident passes, for instance, for me, it has been 26 years, the more often I start feeling physical pain. Happy people are those who don't feel any pain, those who received highly skilled surgical procedure. Therefore, these surgeons deserve huge credit for proper residual limbs. However, unluckily, many people suffer from phantom limb pains.
Очень много людей страдают от фантомных болей.
Helping elderly isn't a project, I just help them. Just visit my neighbors. Just buy them bread. Just wash their floor. Just measure blood pressure and make an injection. In the middle of the night, I received calls where a grandmother would say, "I'm dying, I'm feeling bad," but eventually she lost the track of time, thinking it's afternoon. Grandma just needs someone to talk to, communicate with, because the elderly feel incredibly lonely. Now I have 5 people left. There used to be more. They're old and they pass away. Hello, welcome. How are you? Living bit by bit. Why so? Because we're sick. How come you're sick? Stop it. There is one more project, a real project. It is called Giving Joy. I conduct it with a team of like-minded people. There are makeup artists, stylists, a photographer who have been working with me for several years. They are doing it all for free and just because we need it. The project concept is photo sessions for the children with cancer. We create the images they want. The project started when I had a girl, Sabina, whom I was helping at that moment. When she felt happy about something, her pain would stop for a while without any medical treatment. So I understood that the more happy moments she had, the less painful it was for her to live. When she was lying and looking at the wall, I asked her, "What would you like to do the most in this world?" She said, "I want to see at least for 5 minutes how photo sessions for models are made." And we decided to make one for her. When Sabina was brought to the photo studio, she forgot about everything, but it all became permanent. I met with a wonderful woman, Anna Nikolaevna Bykovskaya, the head of the radiological therapy department for children. I suggested her to cooperate. Since then, the project was launched. Very firmly, we hide all of our pity and emotions, creating only joyful and happy mood. If the kids on their way to the photo session are sad and feeling pain, after the photo shoot they feel terrifically enthusiastic. Something incredible happens to them. "Mother, I've done this. Have you seen it?" I collect my own statistics where I speak to every doctor about each patient. Their analysis results get better. Not for a long time, but results get better. And when we had to choose the name of our project, there were no options but Giving Joy. I live just for the moment when we go to the other world. We don't bring anything except for our emotions. They are left with us. I've seen it because I've had a clinical death and I know for sure how it was, and I have experienced it several times. All the time you have your thoughts, intentions, and emotions. If I could live my life again, I would correct many things. Many say if they had a chance to start their life all over, they would not change anything. But in my case, I would change a lot of things. And it's true. In order to fix everything that was wrong in life, You have to start from scratch.